Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pokemon Trading Card Game 2018 Stuttgart Regional Championships. I'm Nicholas Pearce and I'm here once again with Connor Hayward. We are kicking off round 7, the second to last round of our tournament today, and featuring for the first time a returning feature match. Is that the right term?
I'm not sure what the correct term is, but the reason why we've done this is because we've seen what Toby's playing is quite different to what we've seen for the rest of the day, and immediately as he flips over the first card, it's a Fanfi.
It is Fampi, actually.
Yes, yeah.
Funnily enough, it was actually spelt wrong that way on one of the Fampis in, I think, called Legends.
Yeah, this is why I think I learned the name wrong.
Well, there you go. But yeah, no, absolutely. Toby's starting with a Fampi, and he will be playing the Donphan deck, a deck which we've not seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's big kind of blast from the past. Spinning turn into your Wobbuffets. Basically, go right. Go on then.
Yeah. Which Wobbuffets are into robo substitutes, all sorts. It's a really cool card and a really cool deck.
Yeah. Again, Philipp has the Bridget in his opening hand. I think every single time he's had a game on stream, he's had the Bridget. So
must be nice.
that's how you want to play these kinds of decks.
No, absolutely. To borrow a Rossism.
So straight into the Bridget. He knows that he can just attach to the routes and off he goes.
Yeah, that's he's completely fine with that setup. 4 routes all ready to go, and now on to Toby as he starts off his first turn with a Karina. Again, as this is a fighting deck, this is one of the...
He gets a lot of options.
Yeah, just one of the really strong tools that this deck has access to, able to find himself a fighting Pokemon and an item. So with that, he's going to grab another Fampi, and it looks to be a Nest Ball. So
just get them all.
It's kind of like a Bridget, or a bit like a Pokemon fan club, I guess. But you can also use it to grab other stuff, so it's really cool. And I am delighted to inform you that we do have the deck list now. And so there's having a look here just to see what sort of switching options he actually has. So he's got a Hooper, the new one from Shining Legends, which can, of course, can't be hit by EX and GX Pokemon. But his main thing is going to be switching is going to be this Wobbuffet, one from all the way back from Phantom Forces, which stops the opponent from being able to use any abilities on Pokemon which aren't Psychic type.
Yeah, so he has a lot of nice kind of fun options to go into off of the spinning turn in his deck, and he has nice early pressure and nice ways to find access to spinning turns in a really quick way by having multiple Fampi out very quickly. So actually going for the Gallade as opposed to the Gardevoir, I guess you take whatever you can find. Rare Candy still takes a KO.
Yeah, absolutely. And with it won't even need to use. Of course, the Fampi has is it 70 HP, I believe. So even if Philipp doesn't play a supporter, he still will be able to get the knockout, which is nice for him. Just gonna get up the image here just to sort of double check it. It has. Oh, there you go. There's the KO. I played a supporter anyway, so it doesn't matter. But now Sensible gets the knockout onto Toby's turn, or Tubbs, as most people know him, to be fair. Yeah, there's even the term Tubbs luck is one that's if any were watching home, we're friends with it. Actually, Fampi has 80 HP, so he did need to play the support to get the KO.
It's a strangely high amount of HP for a basic Pokemon that evolves.
Yeah, it is actually. I think it's very true. Now and he has got the Donphan out now, so he's able to attack with strong energy, retreats the Wobbuffet, spinning turn, will do 60 damage, and then brings the Wobbuffet back into the active. So that means that Premonition will be shut off, as will Gardevoir GX's Secret Spring. Of course, one of the reasons why Wobbuffet isn't as good now as it used to be is, of course, Tapu Lele GX is a consistency card which almost every single deck plays, and that is Psychic type. Yep. Wobbuffet does not affect that.
Yeah, it just kind of goes, well, that's fine. I'll take a supporter though.
Yeah.
I can't draw cards any other way. I'll just use the supporter, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm completely okay with this.
We find a Curlier for Philipp, and kind of just goes, okay, sure, I'll just chip damage in. It's quite nice. Because until Tubbs found that he was in kind of a sticky situation, he didn't have an awful lot of stuff on the bench. He really wants to be able to keep extra Pokemon down just so that he can keep his options open, and means that Philipp can't just go, Guzma, that's my Donphan, go away.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite nice or good for Toby that Philipp didn't have a supporter, because if he did, Sensitive Blade would have been enough for a knockout. As it stands, instead he had to just be content with Sensitive Blade for 60, and that enabled Toby to then, after getting a computer search, just got another Karina after that. Got a Fampi and a Verse Seeker, attached a strong energy to the bench Fampi, and just retreated into the Donphan, doing another spinning turn. Now, back to Philipp.
Yeah, that damage for the spinning turn adds up quite slowly, but we did see earlier on Philipp only played the one copy of Max Potion in his list, which means that actually it doesn't get removed at any point. It will just, or it's very unlikely to consistently be removed. So these 60s, these little triplets of damage, eventually become enough to cause problems.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Now, one interesting thing to note about Tubbs' list is that a lot of the lists in the past would have opted to play stuff like Robo Substitute, because off of a spinning turn you can switch into it and then just leave that to be knocked out and they won't give up a prize. Tubbs is not playing Robo Substitute.
Wow.
It's a very different approach to the deck, just focusing entirely on switching into this Wobbuffet and really shutting off abilities.
But looking through the list, it's actually very different to many decks we've seen, like things like the one-off Ultra Ball as opposed to playing multiple copies, because he's gone, well, just Karina.
Yeah.
Just take it.
Yeah, Nest Ball as well. I think it's because in Donphan there's not really many cards you want to discard apart from like maybe supporters for Versus Seeker, but even then he's playing 3 instead of the usual 4, and I guess he would rather just like use that supporter and then use Versus Seeker to reuse it, rather than specifically do the whole toolboxing thing, which a lot of other decks like to do with Versus Seeker. So yeah, absolutely, Connor. It's a very interesting, very different approach to the Donphan deck compared to what you might have seen in the past.
And he's also playing 2 copies of Double Colourless Energy, which is not necessarily that surprising. Donphan does have a very good second attack, but here he's just gone, well, this is just a really nice way of dealing with Zoroark. They have to play Skyfield at some point to take knockouts, so I'll just threaten with Wreck at any time just to go, yeah, but go away. I'll take 2 prize cards, you can only take 1. I'm quite happy.
And not only that, but even if there isn't a stadium in play with Choice Band, Wreck gets a KO on a Zoroark anyway, so
it just kind of runs through, and I assume that's basically the decision behind the deck for today.
I would have thought so as well. And also, that's a Choice Band just assuming that there's no strong energy. Like, if there's a strong energy, then even a Muscle Band will do the trick. And if there's 2 strong energy, well, then you don't even need either.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
This is the big decision that a lot of people have made today in choosing their decks, is Zoroark was expected to be very popular. And people go, okay, right, you either play it, you beat them, or you join them, right? So it's interesting to see how many different varieties of ways people go, I'll beat them then. We've had Buzzwole, Lycanroc, we've had Lucario, we've had Donphan as things that have gone, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, I can deal with this.
Gardevoir as well.
Yeah.
Actually.
So there's a lot of really nice, cool ways of approaching different games.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, there's just another spinning turn from Tubbs. Puts 80 onto the Gallade. Another spinning turn with the double strong energies of the Donphan will be enough to get the knockout. And now it's going to be back on Philipp. It's interesting that the one Gallade's been KO'd, and he's very much focusing on this Gallade strategy, it seems, of opting to, or rather realising that because all of Tubbs' attackers only go at 1 prize, his attackers need to be doing the same.
Yeah, he's gone, right, Donphan wins games by skewing the prize trade, and if we let that happen, we can't really get back in. We have to find multiple energy, multiple cards at the same time, which is much more difficult with Wob in the active at all times. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a case of, right, let's... here comes another Gallade to prove the point. He's gone, right, let's just trade efficiently. Let's go 1 for 1 and try and do it more consistently, because Gallade actually has the option to 1-hit KO if you get the supporter. So it kind of keeps Toby kind of having to always find more.
Yes, definitely. Another interesting thing to note is that actually looking through Toby's list again, he doesn't play Focus Sash either. So that's normally like a very big card that Donphan plays, just make that price trade even harder. But he's just opted for more consistency instead. He just opted, right, I'm going full out with, I want to just always switch to Wobbuffet, and I want to make sure that I have access to that all the time. So I don't want to be playing Focus Sashes. I want to be doing damage instead, and just focusing on like the attacking tools and the float stones as well.
Well, yes, he was actually playing a split, 2-2 split of the Muscle Band Choice Band. We've seen it actually fairly common today, playing a split, because a lot of people have gone, actually getting that extra 20 damage on a non-EX is actually, in GX, is super valuable. As much as the 30 damage to a GX is also valuable, sometimes it just means you can reach extra KOs here or there.
Yeah, it means you have coverage against both types of decks you might sort of face against. Now, what's Toby going to do here? He's got another fan piece, that's really great for him. He's able to set up his attackers very consistently. In fact, he hasn't had a single Donphan get KO'd yet, as far as I can tell. There's it's just been Wobbuffet being KO'd pretty much this whole time, and that's maybe like one of the Donphans has gone down. I'm not sure, but Toby's done a very good job of keeping his Donphans healthy. But you can't help but wonder, maybe if Tubbs was playing rubber subs instead, maybe you could have actually some of those prizes taken could have turned into non-prizes taken.
Yeah, well, so this turn having the Wob in the active is extremely useful because it means that he can't Philipp can't hit something like Secret Spring and Energy to be able to hit the damage. He has to always find DCE.
Yeah.
So it basically says, basically causes the problem of right, he might miss an attack this turn, and missing an attack for one turn can make a really big impact. So hopefully, actually you just see the attachment to the bench Gardevoir. Well, Gardevoir is like a several hit KO.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a long time to finish one of these off.
Yeah. Tubbs would have to work very, very hard to get the KO with Wreck. In fact, actually, to be fair, it is possible. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got 2 strong energy on the Donphan already. Wreck would do... I can't remember what it does. It's 80 plus... I can't remember the exact mass of it.
I think it's 80 plus 80, I think.
That's what I thought as well. Maybe we just get...
Yeah, if we can get the scan up of Donphan.
Just to make sure here. So... Yeah, it's 80 plus. Oh, it was 60 more.
Okay.
Oh, that's rough.
So 140, 180 with the current attachments of strong energy. You'd need a lot.
Yeah, you need a third strong and a choice band.
Yeah,
that's what you need. Yeah, that is a lot to ask for. If it was 80 plus 80, then all you need is a choice band and you have it.
Yeah,
but unfortunately not an option. And
he would also have to find one of his copies of Parallel City because there's still no stadium in play,
and all of the strong energies are attached on the field.
Yeah.
So. Not an option then.
Yeah, so he's in a position to go, okay, right, Gardevoir, going to be a problem.
Yeah, and I think Philipp has recognised that, and that's why he's decided to charge this up, because he knows that he will need to... That the Gardevoir will have to be 2-shot, and if it's getting 2-shot, Philipp can take 2 KOs, what happens, and win the game, because he only has 2 prizes left. That's pretty much what Philipp is thinking at this point.
There is obviously the choice... with a DC attachment to potentially go into one of the Lele to try and take some prize cards, but then you just get one shot again, and you need another DCE to do the same for the next Lele, so you'd have to keep finding Guzmas that, even though it's a deck that revolves around switching, he's only playing 2, so actually getting regular access to a switching supporter is actually quite unlikely.
Yeah, this is kind of what needs to happen here. So Tubbs has benched the Hooper with Floatstone, played the N, and now he just needs to hope this N sticks. Philipp doesn't have anything to draw extra cards with. He doesn't have a Octillery or Oranguru or anything like that. So he kind of just has to keep doing spinning turns and keep hoping that he's able to get knockouts, and that this Hooper is going to see him through the rest of his free prizes.
So perhaps this is what made Toby go, right, hang on, it's time to make this deck come back. Having, with attacking Hooper being fairly common in Standard, maybe he's gone, hang on, it works in Expanded too. Let's throw this in with some Donphans and let's keep rolling.
Yeah, because I mean, Donphan used to play the Safeguarders back in the day anyway. He used to play stuff like Sigilif. So this is just an extension of that.
Yeah, I think it's a really kind of neat way of going, right, hang on, let's just take an old deck, add something a little bit new, and let's keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
There is no option to GX attack at all in Toby's list.
Nope, there's only one GX, and that's Tapu Lele, and he's not playing Psychic Energy, so Tapu Cure isn't even an option.
So he's kind of all in on just trade efficiently. We see DCE onto the Arakaria. I was like, well, this can hurt the Hooper, I suppose.
It'll do 10 damage to it because it's resistant to Psychic.
Or he can use the first attack to place 1 damage counter for the exact same effect.
Oh no, 2 actually, or 3? 4?
Oh, okay. He can spend a little bit of damage out. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's
not as bad as we originally thought.
Yeah, so he gets a few damage counters in, but not many.
There's another Donphan. Now, actually, this spread of damage from Philipp is really clever because now all of these Donphans can be carried by a Gardevoir because they all have 130 HP. 10 less means 120. The 2 energy between the Donphans and the Gardevoir on each one. Yeah, that's a pretty clever move.
Yeah, it means that now basically Guzma is always game.
Yeah, and so spinning turn into the Oricorio is actually... Oh, is that Mr. KO? Oh, no, that's Guzma. Yeah, cool. So Philipp will take game 1. Very, very close. I think Toby almost might have just been able to squeak out there, but Philipp able to find the Guzma the last second to counteract that Hooper strategy and lose. Philipp win game 1.
Well, it's a really nice thing to see from the kind of the way you play this deck is you have to go early, right, Wob effect, slow them down, stop them establishing the board, and then late game, once you've dealt with a few of their non-GX attackers, out comes the Hooper, and you go, now what?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially in that late game stage where you can end your opponent to a low hand size number, and you can control that very easily because there's only one Pokemon in your deck which gives up 2 prizes, so you can just feed them Donphans or Wobbuffets, wait until that time of the end, and I imagine that's a strategy that Toby's probably using a lot of his games beforehand to get to the score he has now.
Yeah, so both players on a very good record at 5-1. They're at the point where a couple more wins can see them into the top. And even not, they're pretty safe for top 32, which would be, unfortunately, there's no top 32 cut for us to stream tomorrow. We're going to straight top 8.
And there's enough kicking for the prizes.
Yeah, so both of these guys are going to be really excited to be able to go, right, a couple more wins and we can make this.
Yeah, definitely. So, here we go now. I just want to... Okay, I just make sure that I think there's one stray prize card left from Philipp's side to make sure he picked that up. He has, so that's all good. And God, that's so weird. For a second, it looked like the two of them were like drawing in sync.
Yeah, it was like, okay, right, you go, and let's go. And
it reminds me of one of the weirdest things I've ever seen at a Pokemon tournament was it was at I think it was like a City Championships in Manchester or something, and there were 2 players facing off against each other, and I kid you not, the 2 of them were hand shuffling in sync with the exact same motion, the exact same gestures at the exact same speed. It was one of the most eerie things I've ever seen. It's like
the hive mind.
That image will be forever burned in my mind for how much it stuck out. Anyway, enough about that. We're into game 2 now. Tubbs will be going first. Starts with Wobbuffet, benches another one, and has Karina. So
he's pretty happy.
Yeah, decent. That's about a decent start he could ask for. Yeah, going to grab himself a Nest Ball after the second, off the item grab for the Karina, and then 2 Fan Peas all ready to go. Brilliant start.
Yeah, this is very quick first turn. He doesn't maybe need to be so quick because. No, but when you hit everything, when you hit everything like that, off you go.
Yeah. And also, I find a lot of the time, and Todd's a really great example of this. Players who know how to play fast when necessary, generally speaking, will just win or lose more games. And even losing, obviously, you don't want to lose a game at the same. But if you tie less, generally speaking, your scores are going to be higher, and you're going to be more likely to make it into the top few spots. So being able to not tie is, with the current time we have in tournaments, a skill in and of itself, and I think Toby recognises that.
So, actually, unfortunately for Toby, his prize cards are a little more awkward this time around with the one Hooper prize, but Philipp also has a kind of awkward situation where he will find it much more difficult to consistently stream Gallade attacks because there are 2 DCE. So, both players Hooper will be useful later in the game once he gets rid of the Gallades, but Philipp may struggle to even get the Gallades going this game.
Yeah, possibly. I think the one saving grace for Tubbs as well, going by assuming that they take prize cards in the order that people normally take them in, the Hooper should be one of the first things fished out, so that's not too bad at least. From Philipp's side though, he's had a really, really strong setup. Look at that, he's got Oricorio out as well as all 4 of his Rolts and Tapu Lele, which I'm assuming he used to grab a supporter who looked away for a second, and then just an engine on the active, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe. Yeah, he's using it to retreat. So he's just sending up the Oricorio as sort of just because he doesn't really want to use it right now, I guess.
It's like, I'll find it later.
Yeah. There is Karina. Assuming one of these is going to be a Floatstone, grabs it straight away, and then probably either another Fan B or a Donphan. Yeah, there it is.
Straight in. He's now in a nice situation to be able to just kind of go back if he has the energy in hand. I assume he had.
Well, he has an energy on the Donphan already, so he's got an attack off.
Yeah.
And he's actually... Oh, interesting. Yeah, with that Oricorio having fighting resistance and no damage boosters on that Donphan, spinning turn for 20 is going to have to be what he ends on, which is not brilliant.
Yeah, he was probably hoping for a bit more damage than that.
I would have thought so too.
But the Oricorio in the active isn't a particular threat. There are no Pokemon in the discard so far, so Philipp is going to have to find at least one attachment at some point to retreat it. So he's going to need to find access to his Gardevoirs or to Floatstones to be able to move this.
Yes, absolutely. And there is a Juniper from Toby's side. It's interesting. It seems like most people I've seen on stream today who play either play a draw 7 supporter have opted for Juniper over Sycamore.
I think because we get so few occasions we're able to in Europe, everyone's like, right, I'm going to style this out. I'm playing the Junipers today.
Yeah. To be fair, if I was playing in a tournament today, I'd be doing the exact same thing. So, yeah.
So, yeah, it's actually kind of fun to see that. And everyone's like, right, cool, I get to dust off a few of my expanded cards. They're a little bit more shiny than normal.
Yeah, or they're a little bit less used, perhaps. And the Juniper artworks are really nice, especially the Dark Explorers one, which is being used there. Anyway, and from the game side, Guzma played from Toby's side, sees him bring up the Rolts, and Strong Energy means that actually Spinning Turn will now get a KO on that Rolts. So Toby now actually being able to put some tempo in and get some meaningful KOs, and it's really good for him because he wants to try and KO these Rolts before they become like unmanageable Gardevoirs or Gallades, one of which is going to hit the field right now. They can see the red candy. The red candy's there. It's going to be played.
Yeah, it's now... Okay, right, this is now a two-shot situation, whereas at least with the routes, you can just keep doing little... It's a single prize at a time, but that's still okay. Tapu Lele for... I think that's a Chorus, I think. Yes, it's a Chorus.
Yeah, it's Choice Band 2, and Chorus there maybe... Yes.
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah. I think one line of play Toby would like to take if he can next turn is... honestly, just to keep Guzmaring Rolts and just sort of carrying them. Because Toby can eventually build up enough energy to deal with two Gallades, but what we saw late game was the way Philipp won was that he was able to build up a late Gardevoir after the Gallades had already done their work, and then take the last two prizes that way. If Toby can prevent that late game Gardevoir from ever happening, then he'll have time to just maybe even two-shot one Gallade, wreck the other one, and win the game from there.
Philipp, probably aware that that's a very strong play for Toby, manages to find two Curlier, makes it a little bit more difficult. And
means two Strong Energy or like a Strong Energy plus a Muscle Band.
Yeah, it just means that there's just more stuff that everyone needs to hit. We see the KO on Wobbuffet, but then it comes straight back.
With the Rescue Stretcher. Now, there is a Floatstone in Toby's hand, which he does play. There's a Juniper as well, just getting rid of all that. He just needs to see a Muscle Band or a Strong Energy. It's so simple as that. Although he can't Guzma now, so actually maybe not as urgent as it would have been before. It just sees a basic fighting instead. And maybe he'll have to be content with starting his two-shot spree on this Gallade.
Yeah, it's at this point the deck kind of changes gears into a much more grindy deck. I've just got, right, you need to keep finding Guzma to be able to hit things that matter. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to keep doing 60 until you do.
Yeah, because at this point, Philipp just needs to find a supporter if he wants to do Sensitive Blade to KO the Wobbuffet, at which point then there's a problem for Toby. The Gardevoir has come down now, so he's missed that opportunity to KO the Couriers before they become bigger threats, and Secret Spring is already starting to come down as well. The manual attack, rather, obviously Secret Spring shut off, but yeah, that Gardevoir is starting to be built up now, and that will turn into a problem for Toby if he can't deal with it.
In fact, I expect Philipp is going to go for something along the lines he did last time, where try and take enough knockouts on things like Wobbuffets and the Vampy that was already discarded to maybe go in, take a turn to Arcario, like he did last game, put one damage counter everywhere it needs to go, just so we can just start streaming the knockouts.
Yeah, because then both of those Donphans already have 2 energy committed on them, so exactly like the last game, 2 energy on Guardy, 2 energy on Donphan would do it every single time. Now, KO with the Gallade onto the Wobbuffet, Sensitive Blade, Philipp picks up another prize. There's the Muscle Band from Tubbs. That would mean that Spinny Turn is doing 80, which plus 60 is not quite enough for the KO. Can he find the Strong Energy?
It looked from over there who considered his options on the Lele. It's like, right, play it down.
Well, because what he can do is he can compute. If he hasn't used it yet, he can use computer search, and then that would guarantee him it. Whether he wants to, though, doesn't matter, because then Gardevoir just comes in and carries him back, and then at that point he's lost 3 energies. So.
Oh, Teammates is also a good card.
Yes, that will certainly do the trick. So, that works.
The issue is he still runs into the same situation. If he attaches the Strong Energy, he doesn't get to do much.
No.
Though with the Arcario on the bench, he has the potential to go like something of chip in, then promote the Arcario. And at some point, when he wants to take the single prize, he can just place a single damage counter and spread the damage out.
Toby actually opts to play Professor Kukui instead. So
that's the other way of doing it.
Yeah, it is, and that's the way of doing it whilst saving energy as well. Although I guess the whole saving energy thing would be dependent on Philipp having an energy plus Guzma, but still the same. You want to try and, whenever you're playing Pokemon, you want to try and force your opponent to need as many things as possible to do the thing which will hurt you most that turn. And by playing Kukui instead, it's one less energy that Toby has, so it's one more energy that Philipp needs to find.
So
you would need to find a double colorless now and a Guzma.
However, he does have his own copy of Teammates.
Ooh.
So,
But that means there's no Guzma.
which is fine for this turn, but it does kind of put him in a situation of if he can find a DCE, which I think he's now gone, hang on, how many are priced?
Yeah, but there is one left though, so
Yeah, he's fine. But it means he can go into the DCE, take a Fairy Energy potentially, guarantee it for next turn, so he can just go, right, knock out the Wobbuffet this turn, put me down to 3 prize cards remaining, and just kind of set myself up to be able to finish the game off in a nice way.
Yeah, there is a double colourless, of course. He did just play Teammates to find that, so that will count as a support he needs to trigger the extra damage of Sensitive Blade, and this Wobbuffet will be knocked out. There's a pretty big field blower as well, discarding the Muscle Band on the bench Donphan, and down goes the Wobbuffet. Now, Tubbs brings up that Donphan, which just had its Muscle Band removed, draws a card. He has Karina.
So, something that's also interesting is a few turns ago, Philipp opted to play Parallel and reduce his own bench down, and I believe he kicked like 2 Lele.
Yeah.
Because he's just gone, right now I have to trade better. I have to be able to always ensure it's single price for single price. I'll stay ahead there. So it's kind of an interesting situation where now he could have field blown that away if he wished.
Yeah.
That turn, but he's like, oh no, it's fine. I don't need bench spaces.
Nah, who needs it? Yeah. So Tubbs has Computer Surge now, so there he goes. He's gonna discard. God, you read that so quickly. Was that? I'm assuming that will be a double colourless.
I think so.
Because at this point he just wants to. Yeah, it is. So he's just. This is the turn where he gets rid of the Gallade. He just does wreck. That will be enough for a knockout. One more prize.
So this is where the field blower potentially clearing up the Parallel last turn could have been a really solid play if Philipp had gone, hang on, Wreck's an option. But I guess it's been a while since he's played against Donphan. Yeah. So you might forget that he even has a second attack.
yeah, that's potentially huge.
However, that's a very scary looking Gardevoir.
That is a very scary Gardevoir. That's got 4 energy on it now, which is probably I'm sure 4 more than Toby would like to see on it. There is. Oh, he's doing a Pokemon count as well. Oh, that Oricorio could put in work actually. Ooh. It could be the play for Tubbs could be, next turn attach up fighting, do the Supernatural Dance, finish off the Oricorio, and then soften up the soften up the Gardevoir, and then come in next turn with another wreck to actually take the KO. That's why Philip's just gone for the rescue stretcher there.
Yeah, even though it may not feel like a safe, an obvious line, he's gone, well, I need to make sure that I can not get KO'd and lose this Gardevoir that I've committed a lot of resources to build up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Toby was able to KO both the Oricorio and Gardevoir, he loses the game. So, So a Max Potion heals the Oricorio. Rescue Stretcher shuffles some Pokemon back in to make Toby's own Oricorio do less, to put less damage counters. Then Philipp plays a Cynthia. He's got another Parallel City. Now, again, this could work out well for him, although it could also backfire. It depends entirely on whether Toby's able to find another double colourless energy or not. There's a Choice Band and a Hooper and an N.
Okay. So the odds of him hitting the single DCE left is pretty low,
No.
so he's just gone, well, it's fine, I'll just go into Hooper.
Yeah.
What you can do.
Basically, his ideal plan is probably... I was going to say that his ideal plan is just to wreck and then set up for Oricorio next turn, but I don't think that's even true. I think even if he hits it in double colours, spinning turn is probably just better because it forces Philipp to have a Guzma.
Yeah, to be able to deal with the Donphan that's threatening. Next turn, he can just go, right, sure, spinning turn.
Yeah.
Set you up, and let's see, you've been end to 2 cards, you have no way of drawing cards. What have you got?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very, very strong, actually. Strong enough that Philip's kind of sat there.
Yeah, you can see the gears are turning. He's gone, well, hang on, this is awkward situation now of I can't actually do anything to the Hooper. And he's been through his Gallades. There's no routes in play to build it back up.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Did Philipp perhaps go for the Gardevoir load up a little bit too early here? I mean, I guess he kind of had to in a sense, but now he's in this position where the Hooper again is just putting in so much work. Oh, he was got an Ultra Ball. Okay. He did have to discard 2 Fairy Energy to do it though, and that's really annoying for him because he would have liked to have both of those through Secret Spring attach Guzma KO.
Yeah, so the issue is that looking at his deck, he doesn't really have an out to Hooper right now.
No. Does he actually... Because I guess one way for him to seal the game win would be to hit a double colourless plus Fairy plus Guzma, because then he can just retreat and be fine. But he just has to discard 2 fairy energy off the Ultra Ball. So, actually, from looking at his deck, maybe he actually just doesn't have any energy left.
So
or any fairy energy.
we had to use the stretcher last turn as well to put back routes and some Hooper. So I think he's in an awkward situation now where he doesn't have a way of recovering.
Yeah, he's slapping his head as well. Wait, he might actually not have
an out to the Hooper. I can't remember his list. We haven't got his deck list in front of us. But
hold on.
If he was only playing, I think he was playing 2 stretcher, I believe. In which case he has the second to be able to recycle things. But if he's only playing 1 and he's just used it to put back like Lele's and stuff, the Hooper was perfectly timed to go, right, okay, you've used a stretcher, you can't recover these resources anymore, I'm just going to put the Hooper out, and you haven't got a way of going around.
And you can see that's why he's agonizing over it. It's his energy. He's pulling all that out. Like, he's been through 2 Dark Colors already. The 3rd is on the Gardevoir, and the 4th is in his prizes. That's the issue. He's got no energy left. That's it. This Gardevoir is the entirety of the active energy left in his deck.
I think that's 8. So I'm guessing he's going, right, I think I need to Twilight this turn.
Yeah. I think that would be very wise indeed. He knows he needs to get back some energy resources and outs to win. So maybe like next turn, he's thinking. Well, it's kind of interesting because he opted to go for the Tapu Lele off of the Ultra Ball. Would it not have been a consideration to go for Shaman instead? Because then he could draw all the pieces he needs to actually, and then advance without actually using his supporter.
Yeah, it may have been a case of just fill it up. Maybe he was just kind of gone, hang on, it's a Wobbuffet active. It's a very easy mistake to make. I've done it all sorts of times where you kind of forget that's the game state, because especially at this kind of stage of the tournament, you've played a lot of rounds, you might be a bit tired.
Yeah.
But it does mean that if Toby can find a way of retreating, DCE, wreck, down goes the Gardevoir. 1 prize left for Toby.
And that kind of seals the game from there. And Tubbs just had to pass there, but Philipp now has his Tapu Lele. What's he grab?
Wait,
So he's going for Cynthia, okay. Yeah, no, I think... maybe he's worried about the Shaman being an easy prize, but I think at this point it doesn't matter because you have an easy prize in the form of Oricorio. If the Gardevoir goes down, then...
Yeah, there's 1 prize card left. It's fairly easy to close the game out.
Yeah, so probably... Maybe, like you said, maybe he just didn't realise, and he just thought that Hooper was a Wobbuffet and he couldn't use abilities somehow, but... I mean, he's got a Fairy Energy now, so yeah, that's going to be Secret Sprung on, and he's got the Guzma ready for next turn. So
he manages to...
he's actually just going to go for the Supernatural Dance now?
I think so.
Tom's not having an absurd amount of Pokemon in his deck up,
but he can just...
Oh, he has enough to kill the Bunnelby.
So it's 1 prize card left.
Oh, it's so close.
And does he have enough for the Fampi? Because if he does...
Well, the Bunnelby has 60, and the Fampi has 80, so...
So he needs to want more
in
this card.
There's a Fuel Blower's card in Parallel City. And he's actually parallels away his own Fampi, so...
Trying to avoid that.
Although actually...
because he sets up the Oricorio, because it means that if 1 more goes in, the Oricorio now goes down instead.
So actually that achieved nothing.
he winds up in the same situation if he discard 1 more Pokemon and hang on.
So
we see a Guzma, we see a spinning turn.
Yeah.
Guzma.
And
that's it.
Oh.
So Philipp manages to win that one.
Well, that was close.
Yeah, really interesting games though, because although Philipp wins it 2-0, it was a really neat kind of back and forth series where you got to see kind of the other way that you can play Gardevoir. Philipp played that really nicely. He managed to do things like, right, I can't afford to put in 2 GXs.
No, exactly.
I can't be able to throw in all these resources and go behind on the prize trade. And he played it really nice. So Philipp winning that game is just a testament to how you approach that matchup in that situation.
Yeah, it's very easy to get flustered as well playing against an unfamiliar deck. Like we saw earlier when Philipp Lejewski was going up against Martin Janusz, and you go up against something completely unfamiliar. It's like, what do I do against this? This is so.
And it really means that yes, you test a lot. And testing a lot is to learn how certain key matchups go, but it also gives you a really good insight to how your deck goes in every situation, which means that when you are thrown in against something you haven't tested against, and I'm going to guess Donphan's going to be on that list.
Probably, yeah.
It means that he's more familiar with, all right, okay, we can have these plays. We know how to approach this kind of matchup when we have to trade favourably.
Yeah, definitely. So we're actually going to hear a little bit from Philipp now because, of course, we will, having not ended before time, we will have time for an interview. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to go for a break and bring him in.